Here's the story of a trainer named Rhett who decided to join a Pokemon Draft League. He played against a Bubble Hulk who ran Trick Room in bulk. It's the story of a trainer named Curry who battled in a Pokemon Draft League. Oh, he was good friends with a trainer named Theo, and the two put on a show, you know that they did. Till one day, when Rhett approached Curry, oh no, don't forget about Bubble and Theo, that this group must somehow form a draft league. And that's the way we all began the VBA, the VBA, VBA. That's the way we all began the VBA. Oh yeah!
Hello everyone, Theo here, and today we are back with another admin collab.
Cut.
Hello everyone, Theo here, and today we are back with another admin collaboration video. Today we're going to go over the season transactions that have taken place. I know we've already had a couple other videos discuss the transactions overall and whether they benefited the team. We're going to do the same. We're also going to talk about the season in general and the rankings currently, because they have changed since the last time that we did this did a collab. So let's start at the top here. We're going to start with the Alexandria Arcanines. So this is going to be quick because they have made no transactions this season, which means they were very confident in their team.
Yeah, I mean, this team has anyone taken a game off of them yet? One game?
One game.
All right, so yeah, I mean, this team's pretty good. Obviously, I just got crushed last week, so it seems pretty well rounded. He could do a lot of things in each matchup, so I wouldn't know what you would want to take off this team. They're all pretty good.
Every piece of this team has a role, and they seem to fit pretty well. And as mentioned in the coach interview, like Thievul, which is considered a not great Pokemon, does fit his team really well. So I don't think any transactions were needed for this team, and clearly they're performing as pretty well. So they probably thought the same thing, that they didn't need to make a move or anything like that.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, he has a pretty just all-around good team.
Yeah, I agree. So, like I said, that was a quick one. The Arcanines are a quick one. Let's bounce to the next team, which are the Clinton Clefables, coached by Rollo. And Rollo has made 3 transactions this season. He traded his Porygon Z for Blaziken. He traded Claydol for Salamence, and he also traded Mandibuzz for Haunter.
I think the Blaziken definitely had a good spot on his team. He didn't really have a fire type going, so Blaziken I think is maybe a little underrated. It's got a lot of attack. When you get that speed boost up, it's pretty frightening. So I think that was a good pickup for sure.
I do like the Salamence pickup, the access to Intimidate, as well as a solid Dragon typing and Flying typing stab. Really helps his team a lot.
Well, I think overall pretty good. The only thing I think kind of hurts him is the Mandibuzz for Haunter, in a sense. Just because I feel like Mandibuzz, at least with a tanky, like, it's not great, but in some situations it's going to set Tailwind, it's going to Snarl, it's just going to be disruptive, which can be really annoying to deal with at times. He really has a Tailwind setter besides what, I don't know. I'd have to look at his team.
No, it says Salamence gets it, but I know in this version
it doesn't.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't. Yeah. I don't think he has Tailwind anymore.
Yeah, it was a slow one, but at least it was one.
I know he did drop the Mandibuzz to free up points, and he has brought the Haunter a couple of times. I mean, Haunter has its purposes, can do things, but yeah, losing Tailwind is a big deal.
I was gonna say he could have also lost the Bullfish.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, now he has dual poison typing. I think overall, I think the Blaziken was a good pickup just to grab a fire type, and fire types are rare and far and few in between as far as good ones in drafts. So I think that was a good pickup. It does give him a fast Pokemon as well. I do agree with the Salamence, and yeah, I could see where you're coming from, Curry, with the Mandibuzz loss, though. Like that bulky Tailwind Setter, pretty reliable Tailwind Setter. Dark type isn't affected by prankster taunt stuff. Yeah, but overall, I think this his trades did benefit his team. Right. Let's go to the next team here, which are the Corpus Christi Crabbies. They dropped Hippowdon for Rotom Frost, dropped Duraludon Gmax for Inteleon Gmax, and dropped Dracovish for Naganadel.
The Hippowdon for the Rotom, I think, was not a great trade. I don't really know what the Rotom offered him. I was against him doing the Duraludon Gmax for the Inteleon. The Dracovish for the Naganadel. All of these are ones that I don't think should have been traded necessarily. I feel like the Pikachu should have went. I feel like a couple other mons of his could have went. But that being said, he's been starting to put in more work using the Naganadel. He's done really good with it. He had a really close game with Rhett, where if the Curse Body didn't come into play, he probably would have won that set. He has done better with the Inteleon than he did with the Duraludon. So it just might be better for his playstyle than it is actually like what I think would be a good idea.
Lost Sand with Hippowdon, but then he also ended up dropping Dracovish as well. So it overall is team comp at the top pretty heavily. A very, very top heavy team still.
I kind of agree with Curry. I do like the Rotom Frost pickup. I don't think he needed the sand necessarily for the Dracovish because he did have the Whimsicott still. And he's done some damage with the Rotom Frost. Just having an ice move is good sometimes, ice stab. But I do like the Dracovish still with the Whimsicott. And also the Togetic to follow me away from his other mons. So I don't know. He's done some work with Naganadel, so if it suits his playstyle, then that's sort of the more important thing.
Yeah, definitely fits his playstyle. More of that like glass cannon type team at the top right now. And I mean he's doing better. He has 2 wins with this new team, so we'll see how many more upsets he can get for the rest of the season.
Yeah, that Inteleon's doing work.
Oh yeah. So overall, I'd say it's pretty neutral, but in general for Joe and his playstyle, I think it's beneficial.
Yeah, looking at this again though, now it's like Fake Tears with Whimsicott's great with all his top mons. So,
all right, we'll go to the next team, which are the Detroit Delmise. And they dropped Ninetales for Darmanitan, and they dropped Charjabug for Purloin.
I don't necessarily agree with it. I feel like I kind of wish he got rid of the Venusaur as well, since he got rid of the Ninetales. Just because he now doesn't have a way to set up Sun. The Ninetales did offer that. It made the team a lot scarier to prep for. Darmanitan is a very offensive mon that hits hard, but it also dies really fast. And the Charjabug, I can understand going for the Purloin wanting a Prankster user, but the Charjabug was actually pretty scary. Like, I didn't really prep for it, and I only got lucky that he didn't bring it the second 2 games because the fissure stuff just took it out completely. But no, in all seriousness, the Charjabug next to a lot of the mons on his team were really scary, especially if he lost Ninetales, he'd then have it next to Venusaur, or if he lost Venusaur, then he has it next to Ninetales. And it's just bulky, it offers a lot of disruption. Purloin's going to be a little bit more fragile. I don't know. Raz is a good player. We know that. So he can probably make a lot of this stuff work. I just don't know if it would have been my choices.
Yeah, the Purloin is good. It's fragile, but
I love the Purloin.
Yeah, I mean he used it in the last game. He has a way now. He probably picked it up for the Prankster Sunny Day, for the Venusaur. I think the Purloin was a good pickup for the Charjabug. Charjabug can definitely be disruptive, but you could tell the couple times he brought it, he was struggling to use it. And I think one time it didn't hit the field, I don't think. I could be wrong on that. The Ninetales for Darmanitan, I agree with Curry in the fact that I don't agree with it. Because you lose a huge option in that Venusaur. You lose that speed control in the Venusaur just by having Ninetales on the field or switching in.
Yeah, I agree. Just switching out the Ninetales for another fire type. But when you could have had the drought. But the Purloin pick I really like a lot. It does a lot of really cool stuff. Has fake out, gets the prankster fake tears, all sorts of cool stuff. It has Yawn, I think.
Yeah, would you say...
I like that pick a lot, but having the Venusaur, I'd still probably prefer to have the Ninetales.
Yeah. Would you say overall, though, these two transactions was a beneficial change or detrimental?
I think maybe they cancel each other out because I do like the Purloin a lot. I probably would have rather had the Ninetales, so I think it's like a split.
Okay, yeah, pretty neutral on your part. I would agree that it's pretty neutral because I do like that Purloin over the Charjabug. But I also pretty strongly disagree with that Ninetales switch for the Darm, and the fact that there wasn't like Curry said, he didn't change out the Venusaur as well after dropping the drought.
Yeah, he does still have Prankster Tailwind for the Venusaur, so maybe it's not totally necessary.
Yeah,
it's easier to shut down.
He has Prankster Sunny Day, Prankster Tailwind. Still has modes, but I would have rather had all those and Ninetales for somebody to have to prepare for.
Yeah, Ninetales.
Like, what are you gonna do? He's got something for everywhere.
Yeah,
that's the thing too. It's like if you fake out the Purloin, then I can't get the Sunny Day off, and that's just a turn wasted. And if they double into it, then it's dead.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there's a lot of. It's easier to play around the Purloin than it's going to be for just someone to throw Ninetales out onto the field, get Sunny Day, and then switch out or just protect.
All right, so let's go on to our next team, the Dice Roll Drillbers. So the Dice Roll Drillbers, aka Sam, aka Ruby T, he had 2 transactions this season. He dropped Darmanitan and he picked up Tangrowth. He dropped Berserker and picked up Drifblim. I think these 2 are very good changes. Very good changes. The Berserker wasn't really doing much for him on his team comp. I think that was one of the roles.
Might have been a dice roll.
Yeah. So yeah, he loses Fake Out, but he picks up Drifblim and he has him Burden, Tailwind, super bulky. He loses Darmanitan, but picks up Tangrowth, Sleep Powder, also pretty
Rage
bulky.
Powder.
Yeah, Rage Powder.
Yeah, no, these are great changes. The Drifblim's 5 and 2, and the few times he's brought it, it's just done really well. You always have to prep for the unburden shenanigans, and then if he doesn't bring it, it's like you wasted your time.
Yeah,
but it's there. You have to prepare for it. Rage Powder, Tangrowth. You have to be prepared for it. The Sleep Powders. Those are 2 scary Pokemon to just have added to your team.
Yeah, these 2 Pokemon, the Tangrowth and the Drifblim, they just add a lot more options on this team.
No, I agree. I actually don't really have too much to say here. I think the Tangrowth was good. The Berserker wasn't doing much, and I agree with the Drifblim because that actually at least gives him a Tailwind setter as well. Especially with the Pinurchin. And then he does actually, if he does ever want to set Sun, he has Tangrowth with Chlorophyll, and then he can start shooting off Spores.
That's true, yeah. And he's run the Drifblim offensively too, so he's taking advantage of the different modes that Drifblim can play in, the different styles.
Yeah, the player boosts.
Yeah. Very good trades. Good job, Sam. Number 1. And we'll go to the next team here. The Fuchsia City Royals, coached by Popo's Pokemon. He dropped Alolan Exeggutor for Aromatisse. Aegislash was dropped for Rabombi, and Wartortle was dropped for Guzzlord.
I like the Aegislash for Rabombi pickup. His team's pretty reliant on Trick Room for the most part. It's pretty slow. He's got the Charizard that's fast, but everything else is much better in Trick Room. So having the speed swap on the Rabombi is like an extra way to make his Trick Room Pokemon get to go first.
Yeah, the Rabombi was a really good pickup in my opinion. Aegislash wasn't doing anything. He didn't even bring the Aegislash at all. It gives him another speed control option. And dropping a Wartortle for the Guzzlord was a really good pickup since his team is so Trick Room heavy.
Yeah, looking at like the two Pokemon, you could have either like a middle of evolution turtle or a giant Ultra Beast.
Yeah.
Like, are these this?
Yeah, it was good.
It's like, all right, I guess I'll take a giant Ultra Beast.
He had some really good trades. The Aromatisse versus Alolan Exeggutor, I feel like that was a pretty neutral change in my opinion. At both Trick Room setters. I guess Aromatisse has less weaknesses.
Yeah, I think
Exeggutor.
it might have been matchup specific too, because I think it was like well positioned against. I remember talking to Rolo, and it was like the week he played Rolo, and Rolo was like, "Oh, geez, now I need to get ready for this thing." So it might have been matchup dependent too, but I do like it. He's got a lot of just bulky Trick Room setters.
He's a lot of Trick Room setters. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what I like. I don't know. I like Trick Room. The page with speed control is just a mile long because it's all speed swaps and Trick Rooms.
It's definitely been like huge trades. I think that have helped his team tremendously. I think I said that last time too. That a lot of these have been very beneficial.
Yeah,
but I'm never gonna forgive Popo for killing half his own team against me, taking away like every opportunity.
It all worked out.
Yeah, he won the war. I just won the battle.
Our next team is the Gardner Guzzlords. So
this guy.
Yeah, this guy again.
Some terrible trades here.
The Guzzlords made 3 trades. We'll let him talk on it as well. But so the 3 trades, he dropped Duosion for Bronzor. Bubble dropped Drampa for Sliggoo, and then to get some free points, and then dropped Sableye for Stakataka. So I'm gonna let Bubble defend himself on here first.
So the thinking with dropping Duosion for Bronzor, even though it was just like 2 crappy tier 4s, was that I just watched the Arcanines play with Bronzong, and I'm like, well, Bronzor is almost a Bronzong, right? The problem is that you have to put Eviolite on it really, or Focus Sash, so you don't always get the Mental Herb and all the other cool stuff you can run. So, but it did set Trick Room, and that's what I needed in that slot. Drampa for Sliggoo, like you said, it was after we made our first video that I realized I could actually get to another tier 1 Pokemon, so I had to get rid of Drampa for Sliggoo. Yeah, I mean Drampa's cool in Trick Room.
Yeah,
it's a lot. Get some points back to finally trade for Stakataka and get another tier 1.
Yeah.
Losing Sableye hurts though. I don't like losing Sableye, but I wanted the Tailwind on Crobat, and a Scavalier in Trick Room could be good, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you decided on what your priorities were. So you dropped Drampa, you picked up another hard hitter in Stakataka in Trick Room, but then you also picked up another Trick Room user in Stakataka for that Sableye. I gotta say, Bubble, I'm curious to hear what Curry says about this, but I don't like the drop for Sableye, the dropping Sableye on your team. I personally would have dropped the Crobat if I was looking at it. What do you think, Curry?
I agree and disagree at the same time, if that makes sense. The Crobat, I think, offers nice defensive pivots for like Staka, the defensive pivot for the Bronzor if he's not using Levitate, and if he's using Neutralizing Gas, a nice defensive pivot as well for Magneton and Weezing. So if he uses to switch out into a max ground or just a ground move, it helps protect. Sableye, I think, is kind of a one-trick pony. It does limited things. It's scary, but at the same time, it's not the like quintessential, because I feel like Quash it's good, and I'm someone who really likes Quash, but at the same time, I feel like it's overrated. If that makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, I would love to have Quash with Stakataka right now. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Okay, yes, with Stakataka, I could agree, but I'm thinking like, okay, if you can't KO their Pokemon when using Quash, you're only attacking with one Pokemon.
Yeah.
And in that case, you're better off helping Handing, which a lot of his mons already get. The Bronzor change, I don't necessarily mind. It's really bulky with the Eviolite. The Duosions also was really good. This kind of, I don't know, it's kind of neutral for the Bronzor or the Duosion grade. I really like the Stack Attacka. I don't like getting rid of Sliggoo for Drampa.
Grandpa does hit hard.
It hits hard and also had that Cloud 9 ability, which is really good against
being able to stop weather would have been nice, yeah.
So I feel like Escavalier probably would have been the one to drop if you had because Sable was tier 2, right?
Yeah, Sable's tier 2.
Yeah.
I feel like Escavalier would have been the one to drop for Stacka.
Yeah, Stack is a steel type, so it kind of replaces it there. You don't really need the bug typing, so I could see that for sure.
They're both different, but I feel like Stacka kind of does Escavalier's job a little bit better. And you have a lot of steals
That's
that are weak to fire.
Yeah.
I think that would be my only argument is to keep the Sable. I think the Escavalier should have won. Everything else, like this Sliggoo, I get it. You had to drop something on the tier 3. I think Rhydon might have been the other choice there, but Rhydon also does kind of help protect Feeny. It's a toss up there.
Yeah,
I think I would have liked Grandpa.
If I'd made a better pick instead of Duosion, like if I'd taken the Bronzor or something else there, I think I could have replaced Rhydon with something better. I have too many Eviolite users is another problem.
That was my issue last season.
Yeah.
It's like Eviolite's my favorite item, but like it's on a draft team when everyone wants to wear it, it's not good enough.
Overall, do you think beneficial or no? These trades.
But what do you think?
I think neutral. Like, I
Let's go
wanted another
neutral.
tier 1 and I
I'll
got
say
a tier
neutral.
1.
I'm gonna
The
say
Duosion one was a total kind of a waste.
slightly negative.
I do agree
with
that the
that.
Duosion for the Bronzor was definitely not a trade that should have happened. They essentially do the same thing. All right, so let's go to our next team, which are the Great Lakes Grimstar, coached by Sam number 2, Wakeman VGC. He dropped Clang for Glaceon, and he dropped Golurk for Nidoking. I think these are two pretty good trades, especially I think Clang for Glaceon was a good pickup. And at first I was kind of hesitant on Golurk for Nidoking, but he's brought the Nidoking pretty often since the trade, and the Nidoking has done really well. It's he's scarfed it and it just hits really hard.
I like the Nidoking a lot. I think it was his last match with the Nidoking. It was scarfed. I like that. The Glaceon I like too. It could be good in Trick Room. Does a massive amount of special attack, right? Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's pretty hard. Yeah. He does have a Trick Room setter in Gardevoir, so
yeah, and he wasn't doing anything with that Clang either, so I think that was a really good pickup.
Yeah, so this is definitely a useful mon on his team.
Gets access to Ice Shard if there is anything he wants to proc the policy with, and I think it has a pretty high defense stat as well, the Glaceon, although it's slow. It hits hard. It gets access to Freeze Strike too.
Yeah, the Mega Weakness policy procs is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if I agree with the Nidoking.
Well, you're a Golurk fan. I know that.
I am a Golurk fan. I guess because he's getting rid of a ghost, so it's actually kind of more positive, and he's picking up a poison type, so he's a little bit more. Well, he already has a poison type. Like it's definitely strong. It's got sheer force. It's also really frail. I know it's done work for him. I don't know. I like Nidoking as a mon. I don't know if I like it on the team. I feel like Nidoqueen's a little bit better, but that might just be me. And the Glaceon, the Clang and Glaceon trade to me is, I think that's positive. Glaceon doesn't do like a terrible amount, but it does do what it needs to do.
Yeah, it does what it needs to do. It does see. But overall, Curry, positive, negative.
I'd say slightly positive.
All right. What about you, Bubble? Positive, negative?
Yeah, definitely positive. I love Golurk as well. I had it on my Ghost Monotype team. It's so fun with the Dynamic Punch. But no, I think these two fill roles on his team he didn't have before.
Yeah, I would say positive.
So just a total net positive, yeah.
Our next team are the Greedy Greninjas, and the Greedy Greninjas made 3 changes this season. Very quick changes this season. A lot of teams made really quick changes this season. Did you guys notice that versus last season?
Yeah.
It was like the first 3 weeks, bam, bam, bam. First he dropped Araquanid for Oranguru. Then he dropped Regirock for Alolan Marowak. And then he dropped the Oranguru for Gastrodon.
The Oranguru is good. I would have liked to have seen the Araquanid stay, possibly, just because that is actually a pretty fun mon to use. And it does work in Trick Room really well. The Gastrodon's nice, but it's giving him 4 times weak to grass, which he has quite a bit of grass coverage, so it's not a big deal there. The Regirock for the Marowak. I really like the Marowak. I literally just used Regirock, and I think Regirock's really fun. It's really great, but at the same time, I feel like Marowak's going to be a little bit more consistent. Of course, though, if someone has like knockoff or something, that's going to be a little bit more of a pain.
I kind of wish he kept the Oranguru, honestly.
Yeah.
So he has the Masharna, so
yeah,
it's tough to justify the Masharna spot then if he keeps the Oranguru. The Oranguru I think is much better for Trick Room. I love all the different options it has, but Masharna is already a good Trick Room setter. I think he realized that when he dropped it for the Gastrodon, which is an amazing ad for his team, because he already has the Trick Room mode with Masharna. It can protect the Marowak and the Turtonator.
Oh,
maybe
yeah,
not Turtonator, but
the Marowak it does protect. I was like, yeah, what is it protecting though? And then you said the Marowak. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah, they're both great in Trick Room. So if he sets Trick Room, he's got Gastrodon and Marowak and Snorlax.
Yeah, this is a really scary team. Like just looking through it, and I was talking to Bubble about this earlier. This team is just all around very scary. Every slot has a Pokemon that has a role and fills it pretty well.
Yeah, this is the team I'm prepping for next week. So I've already been looking at it, and I just faced the Arcanines, and now I'm facing this. It's like, geez, back to back these teams. Like,
that's rough.
This is scary. There's a lot of slow Pokemon here for Trick Room, and I just obviously picked up Stakataka, so we gotta figure out how that's gonna line up. Mine is the slowest, but that first turn they might take a lot of damage from some of these.
Yeah, especially the Marowak with Bone Murray.
Yeah, so it's tough.
Yeah, it's a really well-rounded team. It covers most, or it can
Togekiss
cover
is
a lot of
amazing.
options. Yeah, he's been running that Crit Kiss pretty often, but I mean Togekiss is just so versatile.
It can be a tanky follow me. It can do this. All its abilities are good.
Yeah, but yeah, overall, Bubble, positive, negative.
I would say positive for sure. I love the Gastrodon ad and the Marowak ad. I don't know too much about Regirock. I haven't played it a lot. I mean, that one's good too, but
I'm gonna say positive.
All right.
Regardless, even if the Reggie and Marowak were a switch, the Marowak's gonna be a lot more consistent than the Reggie.
Next up, we have the Island Dragons, coached by Hawk the Wanderer. He dropped Dragonite for Milotic. He dropped Garchomp for the Dracovish, and he dropped Cottony for the Hippowdon. So he dropped a couple dragons and picked up one dragon, so he had a net minus one dragon on his team. But Milotic was definitely a good pickup in my opinion. What do you guys think of the Cottony for Hippowdon?
I think that's extremely positive.
I like Cottony a lot. The Hippowdon makes a lot of sense though after, because he picked up the Dracovish first, I think, and then getting the Hippowdon after that is pretty good. Sand mode. It's like the Cottony could give you some sort of speed control. So I guess with Hippowdon and Dracovish, you sort of get that as well.
I see. Here's the thing. I think in a singles context, Cottony has more use than in a doubles, because you can do Endeavor stuff. You can do a lot of stuff like that. Cottony, I see it on the field. I'm thinking, okay, it's either gonna be Sash, it's gonna be doing
Choice
the
band.
Eject button. Yeah, it's choice band. I don't know. The Cottony, I feel like it's once it's done its job on the field, it's kind of just sitting there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Where the Hippowdon's gonna at least be able to apply like yawn pressure and stuff like that, which is really nice on top of having Dracovish next to it. I just don't feel like the Cottony offered anywhere near as much as Hippowdon does.
I will say, I mean, after the 3 transactions, when you look at his team overall, it does look a lot scarier than prior. I
And
think
he's starting to. He's been winning more now.
this is true. This is true. And we'll see. I think he's kind of in the same position as Joe right now, where they can make a lot of upsets the rest of the season, which is exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Milotic's been doing pretty well, especially it's gone 7-4 the 5 times he's brought it, so that's
Yeah,
definitely putting in the work.
for sure. And I'm expecting that Dracovish to start putting in work eventually as well. We're in the latter half of the season, just a few games left, but I'm sure he'll hit the field and pick up some KOs this season. Overall, you guys agree? Positive?
Yeah, I would say positive.
For sure.
Let's go to our next team, which are the Lost Teddy Earsons, coached by the very own Fifth Leaf. Dropped Alakazam for Gothitelle. He dropped Hydreigon for Meowstic Male. And he dropped Wobbuffet for Decidueye.
That's a lot of common weaknesses right there.
All 3 of them.
Yeah. I like Gothitelle. I think it's really good. I know he said I was mean to him last time, and I feel like I'm gonna be mean again. So I'm gonna excuse myself from this. I think the Hydreigon should have stayed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think he might have been able to
He has a
make better
lot of
trades.
ghost weaknesses, and then he also has the Gengar as well on his team.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a lot of ghost weaknesses.
Meowstic, Gothitelle, Gengar,
Ghost and Dark.
Decidueye.
Yeah. Well, I agree with Wobbuffet, Decidueye. If I look at that on its own, I think that's a good swap.
For sure.
out.
Yeah. And I actually think the Meowstic's a good pickup.
Mhm.
I just feel like he needed other typings.
Typing on his team is pretty tough. There's not a lot of it doesn't mesh very well.
I love Meowstic as a Pokemon. I love Prankster. Just in general, it's really fun to use. But like you said, all the common weaknesses is tough. Alakazam already had a dark weakness, so it's sort of cancels out there, I think, because it was already there.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Decidueye pickup I like over Wobbuffet. I have no clue what Wobbuffet does.
Be good in a Parastrap team.
Yeah, I mean,
Parastrap team.
has he just not gone for the Parastrap at all?
He hasn't.
No.
That's
He
the
hasn't.
thing.
He hasn't
I
gone
fight
for the
him.
Parastrap.
I fight him later, and I feel like that's when he's going to bring Parastrap.
Yeah, I mean, I think just go for it at this point.
Well, who's
It's like-
who's playing him?
You can
In
clean
his
house
last-
with Kartana first, and then perish whatever's left. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. The Kartana is just so frail. It's
It
so
is.
frail. Yeah.
It is.
This team, he has some bulky mons, but they're not bulky on the defensive side. Everything's like just specially bulky. That is bulky. It's just specially bulky. So it's so tough. This team is tough. I do expect though, game 10 or week 10, I'm expecting Perish Song to come out. There's
for
no
sure.
way. There's
It
no
has
way
to
he's gonna end this
eventually, right?
season without Perish Trap, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like at least he's got like prankster of screens on the Meowstic. He could try to set up some defenses that way, maybe. But
Yeah, no, he did that. He actually was doing that against whatchamacallit, Sasori this week, and if Sasori didn't have Crit Kiss, I think it would have worked out really well for him.
Overall, negative on this. You guys agree? Like pretty negative. The changes.
I'm sorry, Fifth. I love you, man. It's negative.
I love you too, but it is negative. Bubble?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like Meowstic and Decidueye, so just in general, the Mons. Yeah, Hydreigon would have been good to have. So
There's just too many overlapping typings. Let's go to our next team here, the Meltan Nuts, and I think this will be a quick one as well, because they have no transactions. And I was really surprised about that. But yeah, I was expecting a transaction, and we did not get one. Do you guys agree with?
I don't know, to be honest.
I mean, Pinsir's never come at all to a battle, right? So maybe Pinsir could have got the boot.
But I also feel like Pinsir would do some work. Sigilyph has also never come too. And
Yeah,
I think he
Sigilyph
was
does a
really
lot
good.
too.
Yeah, I mean, I like having the Sigilyph on the team. It would just be what do you want instead.
Another the Pinsir.
I think the
think
top
Swampert.
6 is just so good. You could. I don't know. I still think this team's really good.
Oh, it's still really good, yeah. I just would have booted the Swampert, I think, for a different water type. Or not even a water type.
Something
Pick up,
else, yeah, because he already has the
something.
Lapras up top, yeah.
And honestly, the biggest problem with Swampert is essentially you got absolutely no love because they're like, Blaziken, here's speed boost. Sceptile, here's Unburden. Swampert, you're damned.
I do like Swampert though.
I like Swampert, but I just don't like it on his team, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think he could have picked up something else.
I'm
his
like looking
Pokemon-
through like Poliwrath. I don't know. I don't know what else
Armaldo.
there is.
He doesn't need another water. That's what I'm saying, though.
Yeah, he could have replaced it
maybe
with something
Obama
else.
Snow.
Yeah, like something
Yeah.
completely different.
Yeah, like
Cottonee.
there's Armaldo, Avalugg.
Grandpa, I don't know. Dreadnought. I kind of like the team. I just I don't know.
Actually, Drampa would have been a good pickup.
Yeah,
Drampa would have been
Drampa
pretty
would've been-
good. Yeah, so he doesn't have a dragon or a normal.
Nope. I don't know. I think that's the one I would have gotten rid of is Swampert.
Yeah.
And I'll always stick by that until they give him Swift Swim.
All right, so let's go to our next team. The next team are the Pittsburgh Steel types, who is not on this call, so we can talk. We can say whatever we want. He dropped Cloyster for Wailord, and he dropped Lanoon Galar for Glalie. All right, so Rhett is a fellow admin, so we can trash him as much as we want. All right, so please, Curry, let loose.
I feel like he's trying to channel Verisify. And if I don't see Minimize, Amnesia, Iron Defense, Heavy Slam, Wailord with Rest, Chesto Berry, I'm gonna be so upset with something that can pass over Heavy Body and just thinking that he can do that.
The Wailord, well, we know Red's a good battler. He's creative.
He
I'm
is.
curious to see what he's going to do with it, with the Wailord, but yeah, that was an interesting pickup. I do like the Glalie, though. I think that was a pretty good trade. Having
I
Inner
agree.
Focus and the Ice Shard proc, I think Glalie was a good pick. And the Lanoon, he hadn't brought it all, so whereas I think Glalie actually could come and start setting up weakness policy on things.
Oh yeah, no, I agree with that. I like Glalie a lot. It has a lot of options. The Wailord, I almost rather the Lanoon stay over the Wailord, but that's just me. Just because I know what Lanoon can do. I used it a lot last season.
I don't like Cloyster for Wailord really because I like the skill link on it, but it might be just a little too one-dimensional for what like Rhett likes to do. He likes to be able to change it up and do different stuff. So I would have no idea what Wailord does going against him. So that might be to his benefit. And I loved Glalie as a pickup, honestly. You already mentioned the Inner Focus, Ice Shard stuff, but it can also be physical, it can be special. You don't know what side it's going to come from, and it's got kind of great coverage moves on both sides. Well, it's got Dark and Ice, I guess, but Freeze Dry is really good, so you can hit water types. I like it a lot.
There's one thing I'll say I like about Wailord. It has Fissure.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. So remember that when you're prepping against Rhett. Wailord has Fissure. And when in doubt, Fissure it out.
Yeah, looking at Wailord, I actually like its abilities too. So it gets water spout.
It does get water spout. Yeah, it does get water spout. That seems.
Oh my god.
That's probably its main move. Rhett's really creative, so stay tuned to see what he does with the Wailord. Overall, for me, I think this was pretty neutral though. Both changes.
I agree.
No, you guys just sold me on the Wailord. I actually like this change a lot. I like Glalie as a better ice type than the Cloyster. He's already got the what's it called? The Clawitzer is a water type too, so now we can have Wailord. So you're not really missing anything with the Cloyster being gone.
Bubble, so you're thinking positive on Rhett's team?
I'd say mostly positive.
Okay, mostly positive. And with that, we'll leave Rhett alone and we'll go on to the next one. So our next team are the Rock'em Sock'ems, coached by Senpai. He dropped Marowak for Pelipper. He dropped Virizion for Tapu Bulu. And he dropped Palossand for Beartic. Those that don't know, Senpai actually ran a rain team last season. And maybe he's going back to what he's familiar with the Pelipper. But I think that was a pretty good switch. I think. Actually, let me take a look at this team. It gives him a rain setter since his Blastoise can't set up rain.
He's already got Landorus too as a ground type, so
yeah, he has Landorus.
The other two isn't bad.
Right. And I mean, he's been putting in work with the Landorus. The Virizion, the Tapu Bulu. Well, Curry, you were the one that dropped Tapu Bulu. Do you agree with this pickup?
Okay, don't get me wrong. I think Bulu's good, and I might have just dropped it because going against this team, he had so many poison types that I could just OHKO it. But that's the same thing. I'm like, even Dynamax gets killed by one poison attack, even if it's like barely invested. And I'm just like, good. So I don't know. Virizion, I also thought was terrible as well, because one Max Airstream pretty much kills it. Yeah,
Max Airstream is so common.
Yeah, and then they get speed momentum, so I don't know. It's I guess Poison's not as common as Airstream, so to me, I think it's a better trade. Plus, I don't think he had a fairy, so that gives him a fairy as well, and now it gives him terrain.
I like the Pelipper pick a lot. The other two picks make sense because they work well in rain.
Right.
So to me, yeah, overall, I think these were positive changes.
So 3 weeks ago, I was 4-0, and then I ran into this team with Pelipper, Tapu Bulu, and Bear Arctic, and I haven't won a game since. So I'm going to say that this was a positive transaction for this team.
First-hand experience.
Yes, just literally those three Pokemon is what he brought. So, so it was pretty good pickups, I think.
I'm gonna say it's in the positive direction, just because I actually think the Bulu is better than the Virizion. I don't think the Virizion really offered too much. Even getting rid of the beat up strategy, like I said, one Max Airstream, if you outspeed it, it's just gonna pop the thing in a second.
Yeah.
And then you're losing at that point.
Yeah, and the Bulu does die to a lot of poison attacks, but you actually have to like catch it out of position to do that. Like I think I had cross poison ready for it and just never got to really get it off.
Yeah,
and again, poison was good.
And poison's not as common.
Looking at this team, this is a pretty well-rounded team. Not as I don't think it's as well-rounded as the Arcanines or the Greninjas. But looking at this team versus a lot of the other teams, it's definitely up there in my book, especially after the trades. So that's the Sock. Sock is still bad.
Yeah.
The next team,
Sandstone.
the Sandstone Scissors, coached by Wolfender. So he dropped Galarian Corsola for Cradilly. He dropped Rotom Frost for Centiskorch, and he dropped Raikou for Cinderace.
Well, he hasn't really brought the Centiskorch yet. I do like Centiskorch as a Pokemon.
I think Centiskorch is really, really good for a tier 3.
More of like a bulky.
Bulky fire
I like it
type.
a lot.
Yeah.
I like it a lot. I brought it before.
Yeah, and he has the Storm Drain with the Credilli, so I think these are great pickups.
I like the Cradilly pickup. We saw what Cradilly can do from last season. It's super bulky, and it can be run offensively when built properly and with the right support. The Cinderace, at first I thought it was a really good pickup because it's a good Pokemon. I mean, Cinderace is just a really good Pokemon and can do certain things. It could be run support as well. It has support moves. It has access to helping hand, coaching, ally switch, or change. I think overall these were positive changes.
I feel like the Cinderace would be a good ad, but he hasn't brought it yet.
That's true.
It looks like he picks it up at the end of May.
Okay.
So he's had at least a couple matches, and he just hasn't. Maybe the matchups haven't been good for the Cinderace, but.
Oh, he did have it on a team preview, but he didn't actually bring it to the match. That's what it was.
Oh, okay. So yeah, maybe he just had better options there. So I mean, he's been playing well. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the Centiskorch. I like the Credilli. Cinderace. I think Raikou is a little bit better there. But who am I to say?
Overall, though, positive, neutral.
I'm gonna say neutral.
This will be interesting to kind of keep track of where Wolf stands in these next few games. The rest.
He's right there on the edge. So
yeah, he's right at the edge with Bubble. He's
right there
at the edge with
somebody
Bubble.
else. Oh, jeez, yeah.
So we'll see.
These last few spots are going to be really competitive.
Yeah, same as last season. It's going to be really
For
tight.
sure.
Always.
That's how you want it, though. More exciting.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And then we'll go to our last team, which are the Worchester Stunfisks. He dropped Tapu Bulu for Celesteela, and he dropped Slurpuff for Appleton. I don't want to get into it too much here. I don't know what this guy was doing.
I don't know what I was doing either.
Having just got crushed by the Celesteela, I think recently, I gotta say that these were great pickups.
Yeah.
I do like the Appleton pickup as well. But the Celesteela pickup was huge for sure.
Also, one of the
Can't
highlights.
believe it was out there.
One of the highlights of this season, besides Raz's videos, was Bubble's reaction to Grassy Glide on Appleton.
Yeah. I think it's Grassy Glide.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that. I'd actually forgotten all about it until you said that. Now it's haunting me again.
And it secured me the win that game.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that.
Yeah, you thought for sure that Feeney was gonna knock something out. Outspeed knock something out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That was
Grassy
funny.
Glide. What the hell?
Yeah, I think these are two positive changes. I think the Celesteela for the Bulu was a really, really big change for your team. It really changed the comp quite immensely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bulu does not get Grassy Glide, so you might as well pick up Appleton.
Yeah, I mean, you lost a Grass Fairy, and then you picked up Grass Dragon. So I don't know. It worked out pretty well. The Appleton's already put in work. It's definitely a slept on
It's great in Trick Room.
Yeah,
I love it.
yeah, it's great in Trick Room. It has 3 good abilities.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But the biggest reason why this is a positive is because of the Celesteela pickup. The Celesteela just fits on your team a lot better than the Bulu.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because it also kind of fits with the Colossal in terms of protecting. I did want to make one more trade, but I ended up opting out of doing the trade. And I was thinking about getting rid of Zoroark for Crocodile. I don't know if I'm going to regret that or not. I haven't really brought up the Zoroark too much.
But yeah, positive. Bubble, you think positive?
For sure.
So, nothing's changed at the very, very top. The Alexandria Arcanines are still at the very top, right? Now, last time we chatted, the Gardner Guzzlords were actually number 2. And that spot has been taken by the Greedy Greninjas. And Bubble, you've dropped all the way down to number 8. You're at the cusp now. You're at the cusp.
Just barely hanging on. So I went up against the Arcanines, obviously. The Stunfisk there that you see in 4th. What was the other team?
The Rock'em Sock'ems.
The Rock'em Sock'ems, who are right there as well. So
Yeah.
all the teams above me just kind of just tore me apart, dropped me down. I'm still hanging on. I have 1 game on the Caesars and a couple on the other teams down here, but I actually have to win some matches here to have a chance at the playoffs.
Yeah, and another big change also was the Sandstone Scissors at the time was number 4, I believe, and they've bumped down to number 9 since we last chatted. They are also on the cusp.
No, they were
playoffs.
I thought they were 3rd originally.
No, I
Were
thought
they 3 and 1 maybe at the time?
Yeah, I thought they were. And then they
Greninjas
just
were
went
number
over.
3 at the time.
I think they were tied. But I think he.
Okay. Yeah.
I think Wolf was actually positive 1 more than him because you see he's at -2.
Yeah.
With the amount of losses.
We'll have to. I'll go back to the video, but I think you're right. Yeah, they were tied. We're tied. Aside from that, it's basically the same. It's just kind of been reshuffled a little bit here. We have Rhett and Dice Roll Drill, Pittsburgh Steel Types and Dice Roll Drillbers also kind of on the. Well, you guys are tied in game record. So Bubble, Rhett, and Ruby T all are 4 and 3, and then you have Wolf at 3 and 4, also with a strong chance for playoffs. And technically, we have Raz as well at 2 and 4.
Still in the mix.
He can still make it depending on how he plays out the rest of the season. Yeah,
He's got to bounce back. I think he can.
Yeah.
Also, the Island Dragons still actually has a chance as well.
Yeah. How crazy is that? These teams. I mean, he was Island Dragons last time we talked was at the very bottom, and now he's in playoff contention depending on the rest of the season. If he wins out, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Like, did 1 5 and 5 make it last season?
I would think so.
Yeah. No, we had a couple 5 and 5s that made it out last season. It came down to the scores.
I think Rolo got me just on the very last tiebreaker or something.
It came down to differential, I think, right?
Yeah.
At the very, very end.
Yeah, because we had a few for those places.
Yeah.
It was Senpai, me, Popo, you, Bubble, Rolo, and Joe.
I'm looking at it right now. So Popos and Joe were tied for that 8th spot with 5 and 5 with a -1 differential, but they're head to head. Joe had won, so Joe made that spot. Yeah, and Bubble, you were just behind them at -2 differential.
Oh.
Sorry, you had to relive that.
So it looks like everyone probably 5 and 2 is almost locked. Like 6 and 1, 7 and 0, obviously are locked for the playoffs.
Yeah,
You would have to think, right? So even going 6 and 4 or 7 and 3, you're probably locked.
Oh yeah, once you reach 6, you're automatically in.
Yeah, 6 will guarantee you in.
Yeah.
So I need 1 more win. Same with the Grimsnarls.
Grimsnarls, Rock
Senpai, which I think just got his 6. So Senpai's locked in.
Oh, T1?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have 3 people locked in then? Alright, and then so you and the Grimsnarls have to win 1 to lock in.
You just need 1 more.
Yeah.
Yep. And guess what? We're fighting for that lock in this upcoming week.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And I do play the Dice Roll Drillbers, I think week 10. That could be
Oh, that's going to be a big
that
game.
could be potentially deciding for a playoff spot.
Yeah.
My final 3 matches are Grimsnarls, 5th, and then whatchamacallit, Sasori.
Yeah. These last 3 weeks are going to be very, very tight, and even the folks at the bottom, Ryan and Popos, I want them to upset people. I want them to break dreams.
Yeah, Greedy Greninjas can do that this week. They're locked. I play them. So, but after that, I have the Island Dragons, and then I have, I think, the Dice Roll Drillbers Week 10. So I got to pull 2 wins out of these 3 matches.
All right. Well,
Man.
I think we'll see how it all plays out. I'm very curious. We're getting there. But yeah, that's our video for today, guys. And thank you for watching this. And from there, we're gonna head out, and we'll see you next time.